Module 3.1. Your job, starting today, is not to sell more product, right? Well, I said that in the intro. But rather, your job is to start helping people. And that's what we're going to start doing this module. And who are we going to help? Well, your golden prospects. But before we can start helping your golden prospects, and I know that you're raring to reach out to them, this is a list of things you should never, ever do when reaching out to your golden prospect. First of all, never, ever get discouraged. Why? Because sometimes golden prospects are busy. And the bigger prospect they are, the more that can help your business, well, the busier they're going to be. That's part of networking. That's part of business. The bigger fish are harder to catch. They take longer. As a kid, I could catch fish all day long off a dock, and they were minnow fish and panfish, and they were very easy to catch right off the shore because they were so small and hungry. But the bigger fish were harder to catch. And your golden prospects, well, the busy ones are going to be harder to reach. So don't get discouraged. And if you don't hear back from one of your golden prospects in 2 or 3 weeks, don't get discouraged. Just keep reaching out and helping him or her the way I teach you to do in this module. All right, what's another thing you should never, ever do? Never, ever exaggerate with your golden prospect. If your site's doing $5,000 a day in business or a month in business, don't tell them it's doing $5,000 a day in business. Or don't tell your golden prospect, don't tell her that you're getting 1 million visitors a month when you're only getting that many in a year. Don't exaggerate. The whole purpose of this exercise and for you reaching out to him or her is to build a relationship with him or her. And you don't want to start it out with a lie. And that's another thing that leads me into an exaggeration is a lie, yes. But it's a different type of lie that most people just consider, well, I do get 1 million visitors. It's just not in a day. It's in a year or 4 years. It's a lie. But that's the third never ever in my never ever list is don't lie. That should go without saying. If you say that you've read your golden prospects content when you reach out to them and you haven't read her content, that's lying. And your prospect will pick up on this, and they won't want to have anything to do with you. So I know it'll take extra work to actually read your golden prospects content and book rather than just saying you did. Because when you actually read it, they'll know it. And if you say that you've read it and you haven't, well, that's a lie, and they're going to pick up on that. Trust me. I get people calling me all the time that claim they read my book, but just from the questions they've asked, I know they haven't read my book. All right, the next thing on the list, never ever self-promote. That's something a lot of link builders have a hard time with, and a lot of online business owners have a hard time with, and a lot of small business owners have a hard time with. It's just a hard thing to do is not to self-promote. We got into business to make money, and we know when we promote, sometimes we make money. So as business owners, we like to self-promote. But when reaching out to your golden prospect, you can't do that. Your needs come secondary. And that's going to be hard for some link builders to accept, but hopefully not for you because you're in it for the long haul. You're in it for the big win. You're not in it for the quick link. Don't self-promote. And never ask for anything before giving something to them first. And maybe giving them 2 or 3 things. That's one of the laws of Matt LeClaire's Golden Prospect Outreach. Never ask for anything until you've given 2 or 3 things to the person you're asking for something from. All right, what else shouldn't you do? And this kind of ties into the discouragement, but never ever get impatient. If you have one golden prospect, like when I was reaching out to Eric for my site a year ago when I built my site, Eric Ward was my golden prospect. You know that by now. I hadn't heard back from Eric after 3 months of outreach. Of course, I had clients, and I didn't need to get links to my site to get traffic, and I didn't need to get revenue from links right away. So I was in a good position to take my time, and I only had one golden prospect. If you're getting impatient with the golden prospect, it's because you don't have enough golden prospects. It's going to take however long it takes to build a relationship with him or her. So Build up as many of them as you can. Have 20, 30, 40, 50 golden prospects working at all times in your funnel, and what'll happen is you'll get to a situation where you're going to be better off. You're going to have a lot more links coming into your site, and you won't get impatient. So don't give up on this system, and never ever get impatient. All right, finally, what's the last element of my never ever list? Never ever 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 list. I should call it that. Never ever forget to ask your prospect to link to you. I'm going to tell you something that seems like it's obvious advice, but when my last job the last time I collected a W-2 from any business other than my own was when I was a salesman in 2000, so it was 19 years ago or 18 years ago, when I worked for ADT. We sold security systems and camera systems. And for the small business group, there were 5 of us salesmen, and I was brand new to selling security systems. And what happened when I was a young guy, and what happened is as I went in and started working for this company, maybe I was 30, so I had been out of school for a while, and I had been selling in my own business, so I knew how to sell and I knew how to promote. But we were supposed to get 3 or 4 proposals a week, and we were supposed to submit those proposals to our boss at the end of the week to show how much we worked. And the other 4 salesmen, between the 4 of them, they'd have 12 proposals, and I would have 20. And that's just in 1 week, just myself. I've always been great at marketing, but I wasn't closing the deal. And I was getting frustrated, and the other guys were closing more than me despite having less proposals. And it wasn't that their proposals were any better than mine. Mine were high quality leads. Mine were great proposals. The only thing different is they were asking for the sale and I wasn't. And my boss took me aside, my new manager at that time. He took me aside. He goes, I didn't want to ask you this in front of the other salesmen, but are you asking for the sale at the end of each of these proposals? And I was like, oh, no. I was just saying, well, here you go. And I expected them to call me back and do a deal with me when they were ready to go. I hadn't realized that I had to ask them for the sale before I left. And he called, he said, give me your list of proposals. He called the first proposal, the first prospect, and he said, hey, this is Dave, that was my manager from ADT. I have Matt LeClaire in the office, and we're wondering if you're ready to go with that proposal now. Are you ready to sign up today? And he asked for the sale. And the guy goes, to my shock, he goes, yes. And Dave says, Matt will be over in 5 minutes with the contract to sign. So that was, and he looked at me, he goes, just ask for the sale. And that was an epiphany for me. How to ask for the sale. Just asking for the sale alone gets you what you need. Now, as you're reaching out to, what does that have to do with link building? What does that have to do with your golden prospect? As you reach out to your golden prospect, you're going to be maybe nervous to ask. You're going to do a couple things for him or her first, and then you're going to ask for what you need. So never, ever forget to ask. Many people fail because they forget to ask. That's not going to be you. There's a time to ask, but it's not right now. It's after you've helped and did a couple things and are getting the right response back and the right feedback from your golden prospect. That's when it's time to ask. But we'll move on. We'll talk about that in another module. But that's my never ever list. That's the module 2.1. See you next module.